Well, in the last video on the boost test, I did 35 miles on eco and I had the motor on permanently, and it was a very easy ride. It was slow, and in fact I felt that that reduced the amount of power that I got out of the system, purely because I wasn't helping the bike as much as I would normally be. So today I'm riding the bike on eco just the same, but I'm riding at the sort of normal speeds I would expect to do. Now, this route hasn't got many hills on it, but it is making up for it today with the wind. It's a pretty strong northeasterly, so I'm going to head out north, so at least I've got a tailwind coming back, because I do intend to ride this bike until the battery's flat, just to see how far we get. Now, as I've said before, I can easily ride the bike without power, so that doesn't worry me. What I'm trying to recreate today are the sort of conditions that you would ride in if you were, say, a decent rider. You're used to going out with your mates, but you've had an operation, like in my situation where I've had both my knees replaced, and when you can start riding again, you want to go out with your pals, not hold them up. Now, in my case, it was Wendy, and although she wouldn't have minded shorter rides and being held up, I didn't want to do that. And at this stage, full disclosure, I've paid for this system, full price, no discounts. So I can say what I like. I'm not beholden to anybody. I wouldn't be anyway, but just so you know. Also, this system would be good for people that are maybe getting a bit older, haven't got quite the energy, especially on hills, and they need a bit of help. Now, what this system isn't is a replacement for a total e-bike. So if you think you're going to get on this and it's going to do it all for you, it won't. But what it will do is allow you to keep up a level of fitness while also keeping up with your mates. Now, I've no idea what this is going to get, but I'm going to guess at probably 40 miles, might be a bit more, but stick around and you'll see. Now, like most things, this system isn't perfect. There are some small quirks, and I'll talk about those another time. But if you're using this system for recovery, then you'll find that as you want to go further, this system will help you. The battery's not going to last that long, but as you'll see in the upcoming video, if you use it for assistance on hills, you're going to get topside of 60 miles. Well, I'm 16 miles in now. I've been battling this headwind all the way. It's quite strong in places. That 35-mile ride really simulated a commute, one where you're stopping and starting, traffic lights, assuming you stop at traffic lights, that is. And I wouldn't think there are many people that commute more than 35 miles each way. Oh, lovely, isn't it, eh? Beautiful little lane there. What do you do when you come out? Find some fly tipping. I wish I could catch them in the act. Another road ahead closed. The joys of being on a bike, eh? Well, I've had a coffee stop and now I'm heading back, so Have got a bit of a tailwind component, which is helping. Now bear in mind this system operates between sort of 41, 42 volts to 31, and I am currently on, I'm jumping between 35 and 36, and I've done 25.9 miles. So that's boding pretty well. Now, to comply with UK law, this system will cut out at 15.5 miles an hour. And it's not a sudden cut-off. You don't even notice that it's disappeared. And some people may ask, well, you know, if you can cruise at 15.5 miles an hour, why do you need this system? Well, the good thing about it is that this boost motor will get you up to that speed relatively easily. So if you're getting away from traffic lights quickly, you can put super boost on, or you can just gradually get up to that speed using power. But once you're up at that speed, it's relatively easy to keep there. And of course, once you're over 15.5 miles an hour, you're not using power. And this is why I should get more than the 35 miles I got on the slower ride. Now at the moment, with this tailwind, I'm running around about the 16 miles an hour mark, so I'm not actually using power. And as you can probably see by the wind turbines, I am getting a sort of 3/4 tailwind. So what sort of cyclist would the boost kit suit? Well, this is just my opinion, of course, but I think somebody that's on the daily commute, they want to use their own bike, maybe at the weekends they just want to switch it over to a normal wheel, which they can do in minutes. Or it might be somebody like me that's had an operation and is recovering but still wants to go out with their mates. Or it could be somebody that's older, they've been a keen cyclist, but they're just finding they can't keep up with the group. And this is going to help them. And I think today's ride is proving that you certainly can get 40 miles out of it. And if you were a lighter rider, I mean, with my kit on, I'm 85 kilos, plus I've got quite a lot of kit on this bike. So if you were putting it on a lighter bike and you're a lighter rider, you're going to get more. Now the climbing on today's ride has so far been 578 feet, so not a great deal. So obviously you'd factor that into the sort of rides you're doing. And one other thing I'd say is about climbing. Now, Boost, being their usual conservative selves, rate this for climbing 8% gradients. Now, I've been up at 12% with no problem. What it's going to do is take you up that hill with assistance, and in my case that's gratefully received. But I have seen people commenting on their Facebook chat that complaining about the system. It's really not very good, it doesn't do this, it doesn't do that. And I think in many cases those people have just made poor choices. I think you've got to do your research, decide the sort of rider you are, and then decide if the boost kit's suitable for you. And of course, if it isn't suitable for you, then there's plenty of other choice on the market, and you can buy effectively an electric moped that's going to do it all for you. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. But I think there's a danger that people say, oh, e-bike. And certainly the boost system is not an e-bike, it's an e-assist motor. But what it does mean is that I'm unlikely to get all the way back home before this runs out. So I'm going to be riding it without power for the final part of the ride, and now that's no problem at all. I mean, I wouldn't want to ride 60, 70 miles with no power and the extra weight of the battery in the motor, but certainly to get me through the rest of this ride, a few miles at the end, it's not a problem at all. One thing I do think is essential is an understanding of how gears work. I was out on a guided ride once with a lady on a superb bike, really high spec carbon bike, Must have cost her at least 5,000. And she was really struggling up a 12% hill. But it wasn't because she wasn't strong. It was purely because she didn't know how to use the gears. And of course, we soon put that right. Now, I find this motor pretty quiet, but some people will complain and say, oh, it's making odd noises. Well, frankly, the only reason that this will make an odd noise is if you're in the wrong gear. And if you are in the wrong gear and you're pushing the motor too much, the controller will start to make a bit of an odd clattering noise. And all that's telling you is that the motor's having to work too hard. Please change down to a lower gear. Now, of course, on a full powered e-bike, that's not an issue. But for an assisting motor, it is. And that's not just the case with Boost. Any hub drive motor relies on the correct gear being used. Well, I've just hit 40 miles and I still have power. I'm just getting onto the Grantham Canal, so it's going to be a bit slower here. I'm not going to get up to that sort of cruising speed, so we'll just see how much longer it lasts. I don't know if you're going to see this, but display is still showing sort of 33, 34. So we'll keep going until it stops. Nearly home, and now the sun's coming out. Okay, we're on 42.7 miles and I've still got a bit of power. I'm showing sort of jumping between 32 and 33 volts there, but I could carry on along the towpath and I'm pretty sure I could get it to 45 miles on power, but there's no point in trying to manipulate the figures. Now I'm currently on 669 feet of climbing and you probably can't see ahead of me. That's the last hill before home. That's my sort of medium size hill. That's 8%. The other one's 12, which I'm not going to go for. So I'll go for this 8% and I'm sure that's going to finish off the battery, but we will see. It'd be nice if it got me up there. Probably can't hear because the sound suppression's so good on this microphone, but got a pretty fierce headwind as well as the hill. Bit of a double whammy, but it's still giving me power. Now bear in mind, all through this I've been on eco power. What I'll probably do on this climb is just pop it up into the higher level of power and just see what it does for me. It might conk out altogether, but I can still get up here without power. Well, I haven't got a mile left to go. I'm on 44.1 miles and I've done 825 feet of climbing. But what I want to show you is that this motor still has power. Listen. Now, of course, I could ride another mile just to prove that it did 45, but then somebody would say, well, I want to do 46. So I think you'll agree that that's a pretty good test. And I think for most people that want to go out with their mates on a club ride, it's probably going to do them okay. So thanks for watching. I hope you found this test interesting. The next one you see is going to be a longer ride using the power intermittently, so for climbs and headwinds and all the rest of it. And when you consider that as well as the climbing, I've had half the ride into this pretty strong headwind. So thanks for joining me, and I look forward to you joining me next time. Bye for now. So you may wonder, how can I get 60 miles out of a system where the manufacturer says 30 miles?